and welcome to a Careful Carping video. In this video we're going to take a look at the highlights of a winter campaign that I've just completed. I thought it would be a good idea to get down my syndicate lake as it has a good winter form year in year out and always throws up a lump or two. Unfortunately until Christmas I didn't even manage a run, which was quite unfortunate as the lake has still produced the odd fish here or there and produced some really nice ones too. In January though, just after the new year, they decided to close the lake and start a project on the lake, which is really good for the lake, but it meant we couldn't fish it for a couple of months. So this gave me an opportunity to get the rods in and go around other venues and fish for some smaller fish, but where I could get a bend in the rod. So as the last few winters, as you might have seen through other videos, I've spent on harder lakes blanking quite a lot. This gave me an opportunity to go and get several runs on several lakes and just enjoy winter and get some smaller fish without sitting there blanking. So without further ado, let's have a look and see how we got on. To kick things off, we went down Kingsbury Water Park and fished on the Causeway Lake. I only fished once here previously, but this lake has a really good winter form and some really nice fish. So this is how we got on. There we are then, first fish of the year for me. Just going at £10 on the dot, so pleased with that. Rod's out there about 15 minutes and we're away, so happy days. Taking on the DT1 boilie from Pyramid Baits. Let's get her back and see if we can get another one. Well then, we've got a second fish on. Looks like a nice common, so let's see if we can get her in the net and we'll have her up for the photo in a minute. Woohoo! Look at that for a lump of gold, £12 4 ounces. Really happy. Give me a rock scrap on the water. It's also giving me a beating on the bank, but lovely bar of gold and second fish. Let's get it back and see if we can get a third. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to get much filming done throughout this session, but I managed to turn two lovely little carp, and it was the first time I'd ever caught a carp in January. So to add to that achievement, I was really happy. And it ended the session lovely. Although it was only a short morning session, I went off to work a happy man with 2 carp under my belt and a good way to kick off the year. 2 weeks later, I decided to go back to Baston Lake. I've not been here now for 18 months, but I could do the run in winter and we know the amount of fish that are in this lake, so I had a good idea that it might be good for a few runs, but nothing could quite prepare me for the session we had in store. Down the banks on Baston Lake for this morning session. It's looking a lovely morning. It's February the 18th today, so we're still, spring is only around the corner. The sun is blistering down today. Yesterday was another lovely day, so spring can only be around the corner, and it won't be long till we're out fishing in shorts and a t-shirt hopefully. But the syndicate for me at the minute is still unfishable, so I've decided to come down to Baston. I haven't fished here now for around 16 to 18 months. I think it was October 2013 I was last down here, where I caught yellowtail. That was the fish I really wanted from here if I ever caught it. I didn't come here ever to target it, but if I ever caught it, I would have been well happy. But I've kind of missed the place already. I could do with a bit of a bend in the rod. It's a familiar lake, so I thought I'd come down here. Since I last fished it about 12 months ago, they put 2 £30 carp in. I think one slipped into the £30 mark now, but the other one's sitting around the mid-30 I think. So if one of them slips up today, it'd be an even bigger bonus. So far this morning I've had 3 fish, so I'm pretty happy with that. First one was an F1, so I didn't bother getting the camera set up for it. It was about £1.5, £2 at biggest, so didn't really bother. Second one was a lovely £14.5 common. and my third one was a nice 9 3/4 pound common. But silly enough for me on the last fish, which was a 9 3/4 pound common, I forgot to press the record, so I've just stood there talking to the camera with the fish, put the fish back, come back to the camera, and noticed I didn't press record. Although I got the whole run and playing the fish on camera, so I'm quite happy that I managed to get some of it to start me holding the fish. But hopefully another fish will come our way, and we can get that. So I'm going to leave you with a bit of the footage, and I'll catch you later. Well, the rod's just whipped off again. This time we've got a nice 14.5 pound common. Not bad for a February session. Still early days. See if we can get her back and catch another one. Well, the sun's absolutely beaming down, so I don't know how well this is going to come out. But I've just returned that fish, so while the rod's out of the water, I'll quickly go to the reef. In a minute, I've got a little bit of pink pop-up corn with a DT1 boilie, which is a test bait from Period at the minute. Seems to be doing well on every water around the country that's been tested on. I've had good results, as you've seen from videos as well. I've also got a size 8 mugger hook. Love the muggers. So on a water like this, I'll use the size 8. If I'm on the syndicate, it'll be a size 6. And as you can see, it's a combi rig, so I've got about an inch and a half there of strip back braid. And then I've got a bit of putty over the Albright knot, then going to about 7 inches of transkhaki, what's it called, fluorocarbon, and just pretty much a straight lead clip and a 3-ounce lead, just so I can get the rod out quite far. I like to fish quite as far to the middle as I can, so and I ain't got the best casting ability and best casting rods and reels, so I'll use a big lead just to get it out there. And then I've got about 3 foot of a Nash Klingon leader, so it's the unleaded lead core, and I've been using that now for about 12 to 18 months and pretty impressed with it. Does the job, and seems pretty safe to me. So it's just a pretty standard combo rig. The rigs I've been using now for about 2 years, done me well in the water park, and whenever I come to a water like this, same as when I fished on the Kingsbury water park a couple of weeks ago at Causeway, it's exactly the same rig, and it was this rig that caught as well with the pink pop-up. Always seems to be the pink that's doing the job, so I'm happy with that. The DT1, and I'm just putting a handful of boilies over the top between fish. So let's get the rod back out and see if we can have another fish. Well, the first 3 fish this morning all come on the same rod, which is the middle rod, all on that combo rig I've shown you. So I thought, since I've got another 2 rods out there doing nothing, I'll switch another one over, which was the left rod, to the hinge stiff rig, cast it quite close to where the middle rod was, and it's just sailed off half hour later. Just scraping the double figure mark with a 10 1/4 pound, another lovely Baston common, but this one seems to be more weight than the others, and beat me up on the mat, so see if we can get her up properly. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Fourth fish of the session now, so well happy with that. Let's get her back. down that fish, cast back out, and I cast pretty close to the next rod, and the middle rod shot off instead. So the faithful comma rig has just gone off. It's not the biggest, I've not weighed it. It's about what, 3, maybe pushing 4 pound. But it's a lovely little Baston mirror. First mirror of the day, 5th fish of the session. It's going a lot better than I planned, and it's only about 9:30 in the morning. The chap who's in the swim on the right of me, his rod's just shot off, so fish are definitely down this end of the lake. And yeah, so let's get it back and catch another. Oh, fuck off. There we go, another typical Baston mirror. This one's got 9 3/4 pounds, so that's the second fish today at 9 3/4. It's also the second fish I've caught where its mouth has been full of leeches, so it's definitely not been moving much, and the leeches are taking home in its mouth. One of the other commons I caught this morning, exactly the same. This was taken on the left rod, so that was the DT1 pop-up on the hinge stiff rig. So yeah, well happy with this one. I think that's the 6th fish of the session now, so doing just nicely. Got another couple of hours now before we're going to get off to work, so let's get it back and see if we can squeeze another couple. Well, as you've seen from the fish just previously, you seen me playing the fishing, getting a run, and you would have noticed the left and the middle rod both went off at exactly the same time. Now, because the fishing were really close together, I assumed the fish picked up the left rod and just went straight into the middle line and started taking them, and they untangled. Well, I just thought I'll pick up the middle rod now just to reset it before I cast out the left rod, and there's a fish on the end of it, so I had a double take, and they must have taken the bait within a second of each other. So it's probably one of the smallest ones of the day, but as the camera's still set up and I need to get on the mat to unhook it, I might as well just get up for the camera. It's a really little pretty mirror. It must have been grown on by air. It's a lovely little fish and one for the future. It's full of energy, but it didn't take much line. It moved the line about 20 yards, as you were seeing, and then just sat still, so that's why I assumed it would just pick up the line, but nope, it's another fish. And that takes us to fish number 7 for the session, so we'll get this back and we'll cast out in the middle and left rod again. I've shoved the right hand rod down in the margin, it's been there all morning. It's a bit of a spare rod, as I normally fish here with 2 rods. I thought, well, we'll try the margin, as I don't normally fish in the margin. So far it's not been very productive, but it is winter, but I don't really want to cast a 3rd rod out to the middle because things get a bit too hectic, and all 3 rods start going off at the same time. I could be in a bit of trouble, and it will be a bit cramped trying to get 3 rods on one spot anyway, so we'll leave it in the margin and see if that takes off. So we'll get these 2 back out now. Well, the rod's just sailed off again. 10th fish now of the session. I've had another 2 recently, but didn't bother even getting them on the mat and weighing them. Just unhooked them in the water because that was about 3 pound and about a pound, so not worth the effort and getting them on the bank when I could just slip them back easier. This one though, not bothered weighing it, but it's a lovely fully scaled mirror. I think it's got a right good placing of scales on it, both sides. I'd guess it's about 5 or 6 pound at the biggest, so again not bothered weighing it, but it's lovely fish nonetheless. And one when it gets a bit bigger into the double figures and if you hold all its scales, it'll be a cracking fish. So it's about 11 now, 10th fish of the morning, so I don't think I've ever had a session like this down here just for a morning, so I'm well impressed, especially since it's mid-February. So let's get her back and see if we can sneak another couple. I'll have to be quick with this. Rod's just shot off over this one, looking about 6 or 7 pound. I haven't had a run for about an hour now. Literally just netted this one and the other rod shot off, so slip her back and we'll go get the other one in. Oh, that's the other half of the double take. Not very big, about 3 pound at biggest, but sport all the same. That takes up to 12 for the morning, so very happy with that. Let's get her back and see if we can squeeze one more before we've got to go to work. There we go, then just flicked out the hinge stiff rig, put it on the alarm, and it's rattled off within 20 seconds. And we've got a nice little scaly mirror. It's probably about 6 pound at biggest, but another fish, takes up to 13. Let's get her back and see if we can squeeze another. Well, that was a bit of a mad 15 minutes really. Been sat out by the rods for about an hour. It died down really since about 11 o'clock and just couldn't see any fish, mind you. I hadn't seen no fish jumping or topping all morning, but the rods were silent. There was no liners coming, so I thought now the afternoon's coming up, feeding period's over, and next thing you know, the middle rod was absolutely away, melted off. So I lifted it, grabbed it, played that nice fish, netted it, just taken the net apart, got it on the landing mat, and then the left hand rod went into complete meltdown. So they were just coming like buses at that time. It had gone from nothing an hour to pretty much getting a double take. Thankfully the lad was next door. I shouted him over and he'd come over, grabbed the rod and started playing it for me. So I managed to get the quick picture of that scaly mirror, drop her back, and then net the next fish. Got that in. Obviously you've seen the pictures of that and me holding it, and I've literally put it back, grabbed the pop-up rod, flung it out there to where it should be, walked back up the bank to sort the other rod out, and it was away again. It was just ridiculous. So it must have been out there 10-15 seconds, maybe even 20, and it was gone again. Quickest take I've had in a long time just after casting out, but all welcome, all the same, and it was another little nice fish. That takes me to a total of 13 now, which for a morning session I'm really chuffed with, especially in the middle of February. I don't think I've ever had a session like it down here before where I've had that many in one morning session. Normally catch a couple, but and then all in the summer first thing and it dies up, so I'm quite happy that they've been coming, quite plodding along well this morning, and I've had a total of 13 so far. No big ones really, 14 at the biggest and just the 2 doubles in total I think. A few upper singles, but I don't know where the bigger ones are hiding. But it's nice to see the fish are moving, all in good condition, and giving me a good old bend in the rods. So I've got about half hour, 45 minutes left before I've got to start getting the rods in, so if we can catch another one before then, it'd be great. But we'll see how the morning goes, and if I don't catch another one, I really cannot complain. A couple of bleats on the left rod, fingers crossed it goes. Well, all good things must come to an end, and I soon had to get all the rods in and get off to work. I've never had a session like that down there before at Baston in such a short morning session, but once you're on the fish there, it's just bite after bite after bite. It just depends how many you can get on the bank, and for that morning I managed to get quite a few on the bank. Anyway, for the next session I thought it would be a good idea to go back down to Kingsbury Water Park but fish on the mill pool instead. The less we say about that session the better. It just really didn't happen for me. It was a cold, horrible morning, and it was just a big fat blank. So fishing on the back of a blank, we decided to go back down to Barston and have another go. Unfortunately this time we couldn't get quite in the peg where we wanted to, so we had to go down the opposite end of the lake, and this is how we got on. It's much milder this week as opposed to when I was down here about 3 or 4 weeks ago. There's no sun out or anything as last of the week. I was sat in a t-shirt, but so far I'm all completely wrapped up. I mean, it's only early days, only quarter to 8, and the sun is meant to be coming out again today. Yesterday was another lovely sunny day, so hopefully today will be a repeat. And if so, I might even flick a few zigs out. The bottom rods aren't exactly looking promising so far, but I can't really get any bait out. I've got a load of ducks and seagulls over the top, and as I've already said, I'd rather be at the top end where I was the other week, but I can't really squeeze in next to another couple of anglers if they've done the night last night. There's not a lot of room up there, so to put another couple of rods on top of theirs, I don't think it's really fair on them. So I've come all the way down the other end of the lake. It's completely open down here. I'm just down here on my own. There's another angler about 10 swims up for me, so I've got plenty of water, plenty of options, and I'm sure we can winkle a few out this morning. Well, there we go then, we're finally off the mark. Rods have been out there about an hour, and this one's just one bleep, left hand rod. Bobbin's lifted a little bit, no more, so I decided to lift into it. I knew there might be a fish on the end of it, and we have this slow little plodding mirror. About 7 or 8 pound I reckon. I haven't weighed it, but it's a cracking little fish. I'm going to get it back and see if we can have another one. It's freezing. we go, the second fish of the morning. It's only about £1.5, £2. Wouldn't normally show the fish this small, but since I haven't had that many runs yet, I thought I might as well get it on camera. So let's flip her back. This was on the right hand rod this time, so 2 rods that's produced, so there's a few fish out there. So hopefully a few more come in and the bigger ones will turn up. Check that one out then, £15 on the nose, lovely Baston common. Fought quite well, plodded along all the way, so I knew it was a decent fish from the off. Steady plodding bites, and in she come nicely. As I say, £15 on the nose, third one in the morning, cracker. Well, it's just gone 9:30 now, and the morning's coming along quite nicely. We had a bit of a slow start. It's taken about an hour to hit the first one, but we've had 3 on the bank so far now. 3 bites, 3 landed, so very happy with that. Still a few hours before I've got to pack and get to work again, so hopefully we can winkle a few more. That £15 we just got back was a nice cracker. Biggest carp I've had so far this year, so well happy with that. I wasn't sure how the morning was going to pan out down this end of the lake, but we're starting to get there. I've not fished down here too much. I've fished here a few times, had a few fish, but I don't think I've ever had a double out down here, and if I have, it's not even a scraper. So I'm feeding out a mix of PP60 and DT1 today, as you can see in that bag there. I went in the freezer last night to go defrost a kilo of DT1, and well, I got in there, I had a couple of handfuls of DT1 left and the rest was PP60. So I'm not doing a very good job of keeping an eye on the stock, so I've got a kilo of PP60 out and the rest of my DT1s, mix them together. And I know the fish love both in here, as you've obviously seen over the years. So I've had a lot on PP60 out of there in the last session. I had quite a few out on DT1, so mix them together, quite a lethal combo. And so far so good, we've had the 3 out. So after I get back tomorrow, or today rather, I'll be giving John a ring and getting another order of some more DT1. Yeah, obviously all the hook baits out there are DT1, and obviously I'll just feed the PP6 and DT1s over the top, so steady away. It's warming up a little bit. I'm only in my hoodie now, I've got the coat off, but it's nowhere near as warm as what it was yesterday. And I was hoping the sun would come out and I'd get a couple of zigs out there, some short zigs, and see what happens. But if the sun comes out, I might flick one out and a zig. I've still got a lot of seagulls out in front of me, although they did disappear for 10-15 minutes earlier, so I got about 1/4 of a kilo out on top before they returned. So there's a little bit of bait out there for the fish to find. Not lots, but the fish seems to be having no problem finding the hook bait, and hopefully they'll find it again soon. So. There we go, had to wait a bit of a while for this one, but we just had number 5 of the session. Had a real struggle this morning with the seagulls trying to get bait out. So I've just gone and got my spud rod out the car, put a little spum on, got some boilies out there. 5 minutes later it was torn off. So hopefully I'll get this one back, get quite a bit more boilie out there, see if we can nick another couple. I'm going to give it another 10 minutes and I'm going to have to get the rods in, pack them up and get off. It's not been anywhere near as productive as what I was expecting this morning. I was under no illusion it was never going to be a big haul like it was when we had them 13 carp a couple of weeks ago, but I thought there might have been an extra couple of fish this morning, but I don't think the lake has performed or fished particularly well today. There's a lad opposite me, well there's 2 lads, I think they've had 1 fish each maybe, I'm not entirely sure. There's a couple of lads up to my left. I've heard their alarms go once or twice, but not too much, although I do know the one had quite a few bream, so some of his alarms that I've heard might have been the bream. We didn't do too bad. I managed to land 5. I lost one about an hour ago. I got it in about halfway, it come on the top and rolled, and then it spat the hook. I don't think there's much more than a couple of pound. It really didn't feel very big. It was a lot of jittering around, and when I seen it rolled, it didn't look much of a fish, so when it spat the hook I wasn't absolutely devastated because I know it wasn't one of the big ones that got away, so not too bad, but still to land 5 this morning, I can't complain. But it's not warmed up. The weather conditions haven't been great. It's been cold and bitter all morning. I was expecting the sun to make an appearance for a couple of hours, but it just hasn't happened today. So yeah, I don't think we've done too badly. I don't know how the lads got up at the top end. That's still where I would prefer to have been, but I can't complain. I've had that 15 pounder down here, and it's a cracking fish for a lake like this, so really am happy with that. I don't know where I'm going to be fishing on my next bit out, but I'll think of somewhere, and I'll see you then. With winter now coming to a close and spring just around the corner, the syndicate's still not open, so I was left scratching my head and wondering what to do. I thought, why not go down to Pine Pool and have a go on there for a couple of sessions. I spent 3 or 4 sessions on there, but no matter what I tried, I just couldn't get a fish. Only a few fish had been out previously to put my sessions down there, and I wasn't one of the fortunate anglers to have one. But you don't know until you try, and you ain't going to catch a fish while you sat at home on the sofas. Takes up to now. I'm in the car park. I've just loaded my car from doing a quick overnight last night, and I'm down the syndicate. It reopened 2 days ago, and the video I'm putting out now, I was hoping just to make it over winter. I thought I'd done a few more sessions, but I really did concentrate on pine over the last, say, month and a half. I was hoping to really finish this video off with a pine pool fish, but it just wasn't meant to be. The fish really did take a long time to wake up, and until I finished, I think only about 6 to 10 carp have come out all year, so it was always going to be a struggle on there. I just kept plugging away. Unfortunately, it come with no reward, but yeah, the syndicate's now reopened, so I'm going to cut the winter video here, and yeah, I've caught 2 fish as well last night on the syndicate, but we'll save that for another video. I'll be doing another blogging series throughout the syndicate. Every couple of months I'm going to be bringing out a video, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe just down below, and you'll be able to see these videos as they go out every couple of months. So off to a good start, but unfortunately now I've got to get off to work, so I'll see you next time.